Tonight, CBS projected Donald Trump the winner in Arizona, giving him a complete electoral vote sweep of the 7 battleground states. With a final tally of 312 electoral votes, Republicans scored their biggest White House win in 36 years. Republicans will also control the Senate with at least 52 seats, and there are 2 races that have not yet been called by CBS News.
Democrats now grappling with their stunning loss and trying to figure out what went wrong.
Had the president gotten out sooner, there may have been other candidates in the race. Kamala, I think, still would have won, but she may have been stronger having taken her case to the public sooner.
I think people never got to know Kamala Harris during the time she was in this campaign.
If the goal is to win elections on Twitter, then you should embrace movements like defund the police. But if the goal is to win elections in the real world, where it matters, then you have to appeal to working class people of color.
The party itself has increasingly become a smarty pants, suburban, college educated party.
I take issue sometimes with people saying, oh, the quote unquote left is the reason why this is happening. The ultimate problem is our ability to clearly and forthrightly advocate for an agenda that clearly champions the working class.
Joe Biden's decision to run for president again was a catastrophic mistake.
But we can all unite in knowing that Joe Biden would have lost and deserves a lot of blame for the situation that we're in.
In just 71 days, Donald Trump will be sworn in again as president of the United States. His comeback victory unlike anything we have ever seen in American history. Just take a look at the final results. With Arizona now projected for Trump, he locks in a sweeping victory in every single battleground state. And Trump did more than that. He made big gains with young voters and with Latinos, doing better among Hispanic voters than any Republican presidential candidate since the first exit polls were conducted in 1976. He even did better among women than when he ran against Joe Biden.
The Sunday shows were completely different this Sunday. I get up, I tape them or put them on DVR so that I can see what's going to happen on the Sunday shows. And what was really different is some of the A-list, the top tier hosts, Jake Tapper, nowhere to be found. Didn't even see him. It was really interesting because they got nothing. They can't do anything about what Donald Trump is going to try and do. You can almost see them seizing up because none of the big Democrats came on any of the shows. There is no rebuttal. There's no response. They can't say anything. I found it completely odd. And I saw CNN, I saw MSNBC, I saw CBS, and I'm like, where are the big Democrat names? Where are they at? Why have they disappeared? Chuck Schumer, you got so much stuff to say on Twitter. Where you at? Nowhere. It's a ghost town. It's literally like watching a funeral or a wake. At this point, they're seeing that you should have done by now your postmortems. You should know what's happening and what's not happening. And you're putting out B-listers on these Sunday talk shows who really have nothing to say, nothing to offer whatsoever. Meanwhile, Trump just keeps pushing. I think my decision to do these daily briefings is much warranted because he is going to basically suck the air out of the media. There's nothing for them to talk about. You're going to see some of them are still talking about old talking points before the election. And I'm like, you do understand this man just won a landslide. You do understand this man just won a mandate. So unless you guys have some sort of strategy that you're keeping under wraps, maybe the entirety of their strategy at this point is to see if Mitch McConnell can screw things up. Maybe the entirety of their strategy is focused on how do we get these people out of jail because of what they've done against Kari Lake. Make no mistake, I've seen your emails. I've seen many people in the chat. Hey, Barry, you're going to talk about Kari Lake. You're going to talk about Kari Lake. Not yet. I want you all to stay tuned about Kari Lake. I'm pretty sure you're going to see something come relatively, I don't know, maybe in the next week, maybe next month. It ain't over in Arizona. Not by a long shot. Trump once again posted, if you cheated, you're going to jail. And from what I understand, there are people embedded, there is technology, and these people, for the most part, are probably caught in a bear trap. Just to bring you up a little bit on the Kari Lake drama, they are now saying that Kari Lake's opponent got more votes than Kamala. The presidential candidate for the Democrats, the senator, got more votes than Kamala. It doesn't happen. How did he have more votes? Where'd they come from? What were these late night dumps? We're going to see some really, really strange stuff, and I think you're going to see some people get caught. I really do. I don't think this is anything like 2020. I think there's going to be so much there. First of all, just explain that. How did Ruben Gallego get more votes, not than Kari Lake? How did he get more votes than Kamala? So are you trying to tell the American people that people went in and they selected Ruben? They skipped Kamala. No, we don't want her as president. We don't want Trump. We just want to elect. We won't even choose a president. Let's just go down here and choose the senator. Said nobody ever. Because that's what they're trying to put out there. That's what they're trying to put on the American people. That people in Arizona skipped voting for Kamala, and instead they just voted for Ruben. Okay. Just wait. So I know a lot of you want to hear about the Kari Lake thing. I just think there's a lot more that's going to come out. A whole lot more. It ain't over. It's far from over. I mean, if they have explanations or something, maybe it might work, but it ain't over. So just hold on. Let's just see how this thing, transpires and what actually happens. But in the meantime, Trump not standing still. I mean, I think many of you know at this point that he wants Rick Scott. Single-handedly, he picked Rick Scott to be the new Senate leader. Well, McConnell and his minions are trying to throw a monkey wrench into it, but it's starting to get ugly. People are rolling up the sleeves and throwing punches. Rick Scott, on the other hand, let it be known what he stands for. No more censorship. You got my vote right there, but there's no need for number 2 and number 3. No more men and women's sports. No more newcomers taking over our communities and harming our kids. What more do you need than that? And he's going to push through Trump's agenda, which Trump posted. Now listen to this. This was at 2:21 p.m., so we're talking less than an hour ago. I told you I'd bring you the breaking stuff. Okay, here's the breaking stuff. So Trump posts this. Any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the United States must agree to recess appointments in the Senate. So he's letting, basically Corwin and what's the other guy's name? Thune. You guys ain't ready for this. Without which we will not be able to get people confirmed in a timely manner. Sometimes the votes can take 2 years or more. This is what they did 4 years ago, and we cannot let it happen again. We need positions filled immediately. So now you see why McConnell is trying to put these guys in and have them drag their feet so his agenda doesn't get met. But I'm going to show you something a little bit later that what Trump just posted is a poison pill. He's got something planned because he knew where McConnell was going to go. Additionally, no judges should be approved during this period of time because the Democrats are looking to ram through judges as the Republicans fight over leadership. So you've heard some of the story that they're thinking about, hey, why don't we make Sotomayor get rid of Sotomayor. Let's make Kamala a Supreme Court justice. And then, we'll do that. And he's like, no, nobody's getting confirmed. Forget about it. I'm coming in. And he's letting the entire party, actually both parties know, not playing any games. And, with the big, this is not acceptable. Thank you. So he's letting people know right off the bat, I want a Senate, a majority leader who's going to do what I tell you to do. It's going to freak out the left. Oh my God, he's asking people for loyalty. Yeah, he is. That's what this country needs at this point. People who understand that Donald Trump was elected with a mandate. Overwhelming mandate. A landslide of epic proportions. Something they haven't seen in 40 years. So yes, get on board or get out the way. It's that simple. Not going to play games with the whole McConnell wing of the Senate. Not going to do it. In addition, and this came out this morning, Clay Higgins says Mayorkas will be prosecuted for the horror he has wrought upon our republic. He cannot hide. He didn't say maybe. He didn't say we're going to have an investigation. He says Mayorkas will be prosecuted, which tells you that is already part of the plan. That's where they're going. They're going to go after Mayorkas. And people right now are probably saying, oh my God. And I'm talking about people on the left. I'm not talking about you. People on the left are like, he is going after his enemies. No, he's going after people who broke the law. If you didn't break the law, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You're trying to make it seem like it's retribution, but no, it's just enforcing the law. You haven't done that in so long, you don't even know what it's like. But Trump is saying straight up, if you broke the law, and we can prove you broke the law, you're going to jail. Has nothing to do with retribution or revenge or everything else they're going to try and say. It's amazing if you think about it. That is their strategy right now, to say that everything Trump is saying is some sort of revenge movement. Knock, knock, knock. Look at the scoreboard. You see, it's not going to work. This is where the Democrats are painted into a corner. They're still talking about, hey, if Trump gets elected, he's going to do Project 2025, and then he's going to be a fascist, and then he's going to lock up his opponents. And the nation went, okay, do that. You see, you're crying to the choir at this point. He was elected in a landslide. He was elected with a mandate. At this point, he's coming in with the hammer because people said, I want you to do what you need to do. So who are you going to cry to? Because the people who voted for him are already, they already know. We already know what he's going to do. And we have no problem with it. In fact, we encourage it. Go shave your friggin' head. I don't care. Do something. Put on a bracelet. Tell your husband you're not having sex with him anymore. I don't care. He's coming for people. And y'all need to know that. And I think you're beginning to realize it. And you're like, ooh, what are we going to do? I love this article that came out today. Let me see if I can size this correctly so you guys can see it. Yes. Okay, here we go. Many in government, are worried about Trump's return. At the DOJ, they're terrified. So let me ask you something. You remember when you were a kid, and if you broke something or something in the house, and you were afraid when mom and dad found out you were going to get in trouble, and you were really worried about it. But if you didn't do nothing, you were probably playing, coloring back then, dancing, playing your guitar or whatever. Today's kids playing video games. You didn't worry. If you didn't do anything, why would you be terrified? So when I look at this article right off the bat, and it says, at DOJ, they're terrified. Trump blames DOJ for much of his torment over the past 4 years. Lawyers there fear what's next. A collective sense of dread has taken hold at the Department of Justice, which drew Donald Trump's rage like no other part of the federal government during his campaign. Some career attorneys at DOJ are already considering heading for the exits rather than sticking around to find out whether threats from Trump and his allies are real or campaign bluster. I'm pretty sure the man wasn't blustering. I'm pretty sure he was straight up, if you screwed up, if you broke the law, we're coming for you. Have at it. Mandate, landslide. Don't let the door hit you, but if you did a crime, we're still going to come after you. See, that's not revenge. That's enforcing the law. You'd only be terrified if you were one of those people who actually broke the law. And now he's going to find out everything. He's going to find out, or he probably already knows, who did this, who did that. Who did you cut deals with? Backdoor. If you did something or you were involved with something, as I've said before, don't be the one without a chair when the music stops. Go ahead and, basically be a whistleblower. Save your ass. They're not going to help you. All the people you were working with before that said, hey, let's get Trump. Let's do whatever we can do to get Trump. They're not going to be there. They're definitely not coming to help you. So what do you think is going to happen when all these people at this point begin looking for ways to save their butt? And they can't. And even their people in the media, their compadres, don't seem to know what to say. It's kind of shocking to them at this point. And if the media can't help you, and Mark Elias can't help you because he's been spanked, you're on your own, bud.
He also made significant gains in some of the most democratic places in the country, doing better in places like Brooklyn, New Jersey, and Chicago. And in deep blue California, Donald Trump is on track to do better than any Republican in 2 decades. And he was running against a Californian. California voters also rejected liberal policies on taxes, rent control, and crime. They voted overwhelmingly to approve Proposition 36, which imposes tougher penalties for shoplifting and drug possession. Both the mayor of San Francisco and the liberal district attorney in Los Angeles were voted out. A rejection of liberal policies, particularly on crime, in some of the most liberal jurisdictions in the United States.
Just imagine if he gets ID pushed through. If he's able to say, now we're going to change elections and you're going to have to basically at this point prove who you are. We saw the map. The map has changed in California. That has got to be freaking out the libs. They must be just losing their mind. Oh, actually, they are. Governor Gavin Newsom is considering plans to secede from the union in order to prevent Trump from deporting newcomers and implementing voter ID laws. Your thoughts on this? Okay, my thoughts on this is he's broken the law. He knows they cannot survive in power if people have to show ID. Pritzker in Illinois, same thing. They know they cannot survive as a Democrat Party, with people having to check or show their ID. Massachusetts, same thing. She's freaking out. Why? Because nobody wants what you're selling. It's been a complete mirage that our own Washington General Republicans have gone along with for decades. And now they're terrified because if Trump gets in, well, actually, as he's getting in, and if he's able to get voter ID pushed through, you're all screwed. You will never win another election ever. That's what they know. That was my video yesterday. There is no possible way that the Democrats can win an election with voter ID. How do I know this? The states that Kamala Harris won, all of the states that she won required no ID. Every state that Trump won required ID. Amazing, isn't it? Isn't it amazing that all these states that didn't require any ID, she was able to pick up? And the states that did require ID, he blasted her. People haven't figured out, how did, Florida flip so much? Well, you have to show ID. It's real simple. These people are on the run. They're on their backs. There's nothing they can do if he can get voter ID put in. It's going to be tough. They're going to fight like hell. In fact, Gavin Newsom wants to secede from the union. Good luck with that. What you're seeing, as I've mentioned before, is agonal breathing. The Democrat Party realizes at this point they've got no future. They have no bench. Who are they going to run? Newsom? Or as Trump calls him, Newscomb? Who are you going to run? Him? In 2028? I heard they were going to try and run Liz Cheney as a Democrat with AOC as her vice president. Good luck with that. You're telling me you're poaching someone who got destroyed as a Republican, and you want to make her a Democrat to run against, who knows, J.D. Vance in 2028? Good luck with that. Once America returns to prosperity, once America is safe, once America can buy cheaper groceries and gas, and you want to put in that woman, Liz Cheney, because you got no bench? Think about it. Right now, who do the Democrats have? Pull Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania and have him run? Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. They don't have anybody. So at this point, because they got spanked so bad, they're not really sure what to do at this point. Nobody showed up at the shows. And then you get stupid, idiotic stuff like, what's his name? Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, Dave McCormick won, or essentially won, the senator position in Pennsylvania. He beat Bob Casey. But Bob Casey won't basically concede. And for some reason, Philadelphia, or rather Pennsylvania, won't call it. They won't confirm it. But there's no possible way, mathematically, he can come back with any kind of recount. So Chuck Schumer says, well, you're not invited to, orientation. What do you mean? I won. Are you going to play Mean Girls type of shit? You're going to tell me I can't show up because you're mad because I won? And so now you got another fight brewing. Mike Lee has offered to escort into the Capitol Senator-elect Dave McCormick after Schumer banned him from orientation. That's because Casey is refusing to concede the race. You can tell they have nothing left. You can tell that they are basically at the whim of Trump when you're playing this kind of crap, this kind of high school crap. Well, you can't come to our meeting. There. And if you come, we're going to arrest you. You're not supposed to be here. Seriously, dude? You're a grown-ass man, and this is what you want to do? You want to obstruct and not allow somebody who won their race to come to orientation? Are you that desperate? Yeah, actually you are. You're that desperate. I've said many times on my shows, don't watch what they say, watch what they do. And you can see, A, nobody showed up today on any of the shows. And B, what are they doing? They're throwing temper tantrums. They're literally on the ground throwing temper tantrums. Got nothing. Meanwhile, your electorate of Democrat people are out there shaving their heads and telling their husbands and boyfriends you're not going to have sex for 4 years. My gosh, you just basically reduced the baby removal business on your own. You what would be the word? You self-reduced baby removal. Thank you. And all you husbands and boyfriends, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of good-looking conservative women who ain't going to shave their head and act crazy. Now might be the time for you to make your move. I'm just saying. I'm not being a home wrecker. I'm sorry if you already got the ring. You're stuck, dude. Can't help you. But those of you who have girlfriends or fiancés and you come home and when you get home, she says, honey, because Trump won, first, I'm going to shave my head. And then secondly, the store's closed. You can't have any more. What do you mean? You're telling me I'm shut out because this guy won the president campaign? So two things we're going to accomplish there. Obviously, I said you won't have the baby removal business will shrink. And number two, you just converted someone else, a male, to the Republican Party because he's going to go, damn, you're crazy, I'm out. And if you're watching and you're not, if you're one of those guys, we welcome you here. We welcome you over here because they crazy. I mean, they're stone crazy. So let's continue with this ABC cut.
Regardless of what you think about the outcome, whether you are happy about it or fearful, this week was a victory for democracy. Turnout was near record highs, and when the votes were counted, the losing candidate didn't cry foul or make false allegations of election fraud or try to overturn the will of the voters.
It was a landslide. What in the hell was she going to overturn or complain about? Don't tell me she wasn't prepared, because she was on 60 Minutes or one of those shows, said she had an army of 500 attorneys ready to go. She was ready. She just got beat 50-0 now. So she can't, what are we going to do? Even the attorneys probably said, yeah, we got nothing. We'll take your money. Wait a minute, you ain't got any more. So we can't even take your money because you can't raise any more funds. See, that's a whole other thing. She went through $1 billion and still owes $20 million. So all those high-priced attorneys that were ready to kick in some doors and cause problems, you're gonna have to pay cash up front. Oh, I ain't got it. Well, hey, good luck. Head back to California.
He gave a gracious concession speech, and the outgoing president promised to ensure a smooth and peaceful transfer of power, with Biden and Trump scheduled to meet at the White House on Wednesday. Democracy worked, even if it brought us a president-elect who many argued is a threat to democracy. Now the question turns to what the man...
Democracy works, even if it brings us someone who's a threat to democracy. Said who? Said your network? Said the other candidate who got swamped? Who said it? It wasn't me. I'm pretty sure nobody watching this video said he was a threat to democracy, but you do you.
And who tried to overturn a Democratic election 4 years ago will do...
You see what I'm saying? They got nothing. They're relitigating January 6th. They're still trying to say the same stuff 4 or 5 days after the election where she got butt-wumped. And it just hasn't sunk in yet that obviously your messaging isn't working. Why even think to yourself at this point, why would you even bring that up? You got beat so bad, everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority of the country rebuked you. They don't believe you. They're not buying it. They don't care. So why would your script writers put something in your teleprompter that you're reading that you know people don't care about? It didn't work, man. You're still stuck in the past. That tells me the Democrats are in trouble. They've got no new messaging. They're trying to keep people who do watch their shows in line. Hey, man, you know this guy, he tried to overthrow the government. Ugh. What's for lunch? You got nothing new? That's what you're going to bring on television for the next 90 days? Meanwhile, Trump's doing all this stuff, and you guys are still trying to relitigate and propagandize people with stuff from years ago? They learned nothing. They learned absolutely nothing. That's why, again, like I was very confident about the landslide. Those of you who watch my videos, you know I said it a long time ago. It's going to be a landslide. I said it. You can go back months and see my videos. It's going to be a landslide. I didn't say it's going to win. It's going to be close. I said it's going to be a landslide. And it was. And now these people are basically saying the same thing they've been saying for years. Years.
With his mandate.
Our veterans before illegals. Yeah. No more those kind of studies. Bye-bye. Tards. Yeah, there's another one, the Paris Accord. How much money are we going to save with that? How much are we going to save with this Green New scam stuff? Oh, we'll have the money. You better come up with a different answer or question for that, because now you know he's serious. And this is they have no answers for anything, but this one's a big one. They're like, what do we do? What do we do? And bury all of their families will have to go too. I don't know if you saw that interview with Tom Holland, and the people from 60 Minutes said, what do you do with, you don't want to break up families? He goes, we don't have to break up families. And the host was like, well, what would you do? The whole family's got to go. And you could just see the chilling look on her face, because he just matter-of-factly said, all of them. Then you don't break up the family. Oh, sorry, little so-and-so. You want to stay with mom? Here, mom. Go. Does it sound cruel? there are probably some people who came here hoping to get a better life. There are probably some people who are some good intentioned people who wanted to get a better life. I feel bad for those people, but at the same time, it's hard for me to empathize too much because I know what my dad and his family did. They wanted to come here for a better life. They knocked on the front door. You see, everything could have been avoided if they just knocked on the front door. Everyone kept saying our immigration system needs to be reformed. All they had to do was knock on the front door. You just can't kick in somebody's back door and say, I'm here. The reforming part is the liberals have to get it out of their minds that just because you step on the soil, you can't make them go back. Yet you won't do that in your own house. Somebody kicked in your back door, ponied up to your refrigerator, slept in your bed, did crazy things with your kids. You'd want them gone. Every single one of you would want them gone. But because you needed them for elections, and what do they say? Who's going to pick the lettuce? Wow, talk about racist. You call Trump all kinds of names, and that's where you wanted to go? It is not cruel. It's realistic. It must be done. It has to be done. G. Mark says, my grandparents came here from Italy. They busted their ass to learn English and the Constitution. Exactly. They don't even learn anything anymore. You just get to come in and, understand that this is how America is. You don't learn the Constitution. You don't understand our laws. You don't have to, the word to be used is assimilate. You want our way of life to become more assimilated for them. And like I said, I am not prejudiced. I have no problem. I just think you made a really bad life choice trying to force your way into this country. It was wrong. This is a very forgiving country. It is a very giving country. I am a living, walking, talking product of an immigrant his brothers, his mom, my aunts, all came from Jamaica. And they told me what they had to do. And then my dad loved this country so much he joined the military. I know right now he'd be just screaming, seeing how these people are just walking in our country. I bet you many of you have military aunts and uncles and grandparents who came from another country and learned and assimilated to our way of life, where English was the first language. I mean, there's parts of this country where you go and you're like, okay, people don't know what you're saying, and you don't know what they're saying. Where did that go? Where did English being the first language not become something that's important? I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. God bless. Well, my mom was. Somebody said, "God bless your parents." My mom was born here. She was born in Connecticut. My dad was born in Jamaica. Barry, where'd that go? Barry, if you and I break the law, we get separated from our family. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, go ahead and rob a bank. See if they don't separate you from your family real quick. Real quick. You'll be looking on the other side of glass and waving as you're getting bologna sandwiches and refried beans for dinner while your family's heading home. You're getting separated. Absolutely. That's a good point. Great point that you said there. 3rd Infantry here, Audie Murphy home. All right, very good. Yeah, when they painted their nation's flag on planted their nation's flag on American soil, it showed they do not want to assimilate. I can tell you, my dad came from Jamaica, and the only time I really saw the Jamaican flag was when we went into downtown Hartford and they celebrated Jamaican Independence Day, when Jamaica separated and became an independent nation from England. And then, they'd have the parade. But as I said, my dad was in the Army. So let's see here. Hi, Barry. I'm a vet who served in combat for a better life. No pity here for newcomers. They've tried to make it seem like we're bad for not wanting our border overrun. And now Trump is basically telling them, well, we can't do this. We're going to have to fix it. And whatever reason they wanted to have this happen this way, now we're seeing what's actually going to be happening. And they have no answer for it. And then watch how quick they turn their back on these people if Trump is able to get voter ID put into law. See, right now they need them because it was very hard this year. I'm sure they had this legion of newcomers that they wanted to vote, but there were too many eyeballs. And so once they figure out that they don't have that advantage by letting them vote, what do you think they're going to do with them? They're going to look the other way. Completely look the other way. So then something else popped up. So I want you to hear this insanity.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States. Whoa. He would absolve her from being able from having to oversee the January 6th.
So they don't want Kamala to have the humiliation of certifying her opponent, Trump. So Joe Biden, who's done such a great job for the last 4 years, this guy says, should resign and let her be the president for what reason? Good luck with that. You just pushed this man out once. You already raised the ire of him and many of his supporters. And now you think you're going to push him completely out so he can name her as president for some ceremonial feather in her cap? She can tell people years from now, I was president for a couple months. You that desperate, bro? Are you really that desperate?
Transition, right, of her own defeat. And it would make sure...
Scott's the one Republican on this panel, and he's like, you're an idiot. I don't mean to call that to your face, but you're really an idiot.
That it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats operate.
This is now...
All right. So the reasoning behind this is to take the focal point off of Trump. We have to change the news. Let everybody talk about what's happening with Kamala. Really? Are you people that shallow to think that because you're going to do some ceremonial installation of Kamala Harris as president, that real people are going to pay any attention? Are you serious? You think that because you and some of the Democrats and Chuck Schumer and Gavin Newsom are all going to party like it's 1999, and the new, MSNBC and Joy Reid and CBS, all you guys in your little club there are going to be so happy. You think that's going to change what we're all focused on? No, we'll be laughing at you. We will be looking at what's going on going, this is a clown show of epic proportions. You want to name Kamala Harris basically as an interim president. Going into it, just so basically Trump could not have to change his number on his hat and be called 48 instead of 47. So you want to make him it's just, again, mean girl shit. It makes no sense at all. I pretty much think they're going to do it. I really do think they will try it. Joe may tell them to go pound sand, but I think they'll do it because that's all they have is the mean girl stuff right now. There's nothing else for them. And then they'll get her in there and she'll try to do some 2-month executive order or something, and people are like, what are you doing? You are the lamest of lame ducks. You're done. That's how far they're reaching for straws. They have nothing. This is one of the Sunday morning shows. The Sunday morning shows, when usually you have heavy hitters on there making news, and we got some clown coming out here going, well, why don't we just have Joe, step off and we'll make Kamala the interim president? And the guy, as you saw, Scott, was like, seriously, bro? Is that what you're bringing to the people right now? You got people watching this show who are watching the news, and that's what you got. Like I said yesterday, these people will never win another election if they don't get their act together.
Jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now. Congratulations. Season of House of Cards. A couple things. Number one, if I was over in Tehran and I had just hacked and tried to assassinate Donald Trump and now he's fixing to take over the United States military again, I'd probably be a little worried. On the domestic front, there's a political science term for what Republicans did this week. It's called a country butt whooping. And they have a mandate to govern. And one thing I want to see them do is get a handle on the bureaucracy. They're meeting at the Pentagon right now about possibly thwarting Donald Trump. You've got to
look at the Democrats. He's really brought that up, huh? Yeah. So what he's talking about is that there's been rumors and information that people in the bureaucracy are trying to plot how they can not give Trump basically the keys to the car. If we don't tell him about this, he won't know. I'm telling you, it's all mean girl shit. They got nothing. They're trying to figure out what kind of tantrums we can throw in the next 90 days. It ain't gonna work, and here's why. Trump's already heard from, contacted, met with 70 world leaders. There is nothing you can do. They all know what's coming. You just look stupid stamping your feet around the White House and the Capitol trying to figure out some way you could stall him when everyone in the world's got, hey, Trump's here, man. Trump's back. Big man's back in the house. Daddy's home. Oh, what are the kids doing? Oh, they're stomping around the house throwing temper tantrums. They're trying to change the narrative in the news. Oh, really? I'm sure Vlad is like, okay, what if they put Kamala in, we'll be better. We can negotiate with her for 2 months. The world is looking at you. The world is looking at these people going, that's what you're going to do? Are you literally going to stomp your feet for the next few months thinking it's going to stop Trump? He doesn't care. You guys can all talk amongst yourselves. It don't matter. You know why? Because day one, you're done. You're absolutely gone. And RFK Jr. is going to tell you a little bit how that will work. I don't know if any of you ever seen the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. It's a funny blaxploitation movie. And it's hilarious because there's these two guys that always screw up. They're supposed to be little henchmen. And every time they screw up, they get dealt with. And then the guy comes to him, you're going to leave here one of two ways. We're either going to throw you out the window or throw you down the stairs. Which way do you want to go? You want to pick the window or the stairs? Well, that's what these people are doing. You're moving chairs around on the Titanic, seeing which chair has the better view at this point. Meanwhile, the whole ship is going down, and you're like, well, this is a nice leather chair. I'm pretty good. Not realizing you're staring down a deck that's heading into the ocean. And you guys are fighting about the chairs. It's over. I'm trying to show you that these people have no idea what to do next, and they've been reduced to high school girls throwing temper tantrums. It's amazing. And you look at their faces here, it just tells you, like, well, we don't know what to... Matter of fact, I don't even know who these two guys are, because they're like the C level. The A level people just didn't even bother coming on. They just took off.
A rogue FEMA employee out here, we're not going to give aid to people with Donald Trump signs.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going to do that story tomorrow. You got a FEMA employee who was up in North Carolina and Florida, and they were saying, don't give aid to people who have Trump signs in their yards. I'm telling you, it's mean girl shit time. That's it. You're reaching for straws. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing your country. And that woman actually got fired.
The bureaucracy works for the people elect the leaders, and I want to see Donald Trump follow through on this idea of taming the federal bureaucracy.
Schedule F.
Okay.
Al Gore loved the reinventing government.
Migo.
God bless you guys.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you all.
Nothing at all. It makes me laugh. It really does, because they have no idea. So now, in addition to everything else, you've pissed off the money people. The money people are looking at you going, what did you spend $1 billion on? Something else now that is going to be a problem with the Democrat Party. You spent $1 billion, and now people are seeing what you spent the $1 billion on. You spent $1 million for Oprah to host an interview that she sucked at. Who knows what you paid Beyonce? Who knows what you paid, twerking, what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion? Or who knows what you paid Cardi B? And they're looking at their balance sheet going, who the hell are all these people you paid gazillions of dollars to? You actually created a set so that the semi-porn site could come and interview, Got Your Daddy or whatever it is called, because you didn't want to fly to California and meet with them. So you spent $100,000 making a fake set. And so this woman here, Lindy Lee, I believe is her name, who works for the DNC, who's a bundler who brings in investors, and not investors, but donors, and says, hey, listen, let's bundle some money for a Democrat cause. And now she's having to answer questions from people. And these people aren't happy. You blew through our money, and now you're still $20 million in debt. And of all places, this woman decided she was going to go on Fox and tell her story.
I mean, I'm not on anyone's payroll. I'm not beholden to anyone. That's why I'm here telling the truth. I'm not here to gaslight anybody. This is just the truth.
What is the truth?
The truth is this is just an epic disaster. This is a $1 billion disaster. Actually, it was $1.018 billion, I think, right? There were $20 million or $18 million in debt. Right. It's incredible. And I raised.
You know what this is? This is a soft disclosure or a hard disclosure, and you're seeing someone who's grabbing at her ability or chance to grab a chair before the music stops. She's frantic. Look at the look on her face. I brought people to you, and you spent $1 billion, and you're still $20 million in the hole, and people are asking me, where the hell did my money go? And she's on Fox. She didn't go to MSNBC. MSNBC said, no, we can't have you, honey. We're not touching that. That's third rail stuff. She didn't go on CNN. Oh, hey, can't do. She goes on Fox and telling them, basically, you got ripped off. You took my people's money.
Millions of that. I have friends that I have to be accountable to and to explain what happened because.
Good luck with that. They trusted you with their hard-earned money. You went to them at some point and said, hey, we got to back this person, Kamala. She's going to be the next president. You're going to be sitting pretty because she's going to talk to you about your business and things are going to go great as soon as she gets elected. Now listen to what she says as she finds out what they were telling her wasn't the truth.
I told them it was a margin of error race. I was promised, Jen O'Malley Dillon promised all of us that Harris would win. She even put videos out saying that Harris would win. I believed her. My donors believed her.
So you know what's coming next, don't you? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. Probably the only person who will tell you this. There's about to be some lawsuits out the wazoo. She is basically trying to CYA at this point. And like, y'all told me we were in a margin of error situation. Margin of error meaning, listen, I can't guarantee you we can win, but we're in that margin of error. So you're representing to someone to give you money. It's sort of like if you're asking an investor, and you say, hey, listen, I'll give you 10% on your money, but then you can't perform. Well, they said it's a margin of error donation. You know, we're plus 1 or 2 with Trump. And people went, well, I could live with it. I could see that could happen. 1 to 2% limit. Here's $1 million. Okay, let's go with that. But then they went too far and started guaranteeing her that they were going to win.
And so they wrote massive checks. I feel like a lot of us were misled. And even on the night of election night, Will, I looked somebody.
Listen to this.
In the eye, and I said, are we going to do this? Are we going to pull it off? She told me yes. And I asked somebody else, like, how are you feeling? He's like, we're going to win Iowa. And I was like, what?
Do you think, did they believe this going in? Was there a real sense of false confidence on the side of Kamala Harris, or did they know they were in store for disaster?
I was wondering about that. I was like, I asked them, are you privy to internal numbers that I am not seeing? Because I study this so carefully, and I just wasn't seeing any basis for that level of confidence.
That's fraud. That's fraudulent misrepresentation. I don't know how strong a case they're going to have, because it is an election and you're throwing money at somebody who may not be turned out to be the best candidate. But no exception here. She's going to be suing these people. All of these investors now are going to sue everybody associated with the Kamala Harris campaign. It was no accident that the financial disclosure came out, and then the day later, this lady came out on Fox. I'm sure people opened that up and went, oh my God. And then Trump's trolling them, going, hey, you need some money? Because we're good. Here, you want $20 million? you want us to settle your debt? Oh, master troller. And so people opened this thing and went, you spent what? $1 million on Who's Your Daddy, and $1 million here to Oprah, and $10 million to Beyonce for a 2-minute speech, and then all these LLCs were on that list, and nobody knows who these LLCs are. So these people just went hog wild, spending money everywhere, like drunken sailors on leave. And now you got investors / donors who are like, you bamboozled me. You lied. Where'd the money go? And how could you have spent $1 billion and be $20 million in debt?
And I also want to remind our viewers that, the Trump campaign was touting all these incredible empirical data weeks before election night. What Harris is touting was the door knocking. She didn't say anything really about early voting. Now I know it's because there was nothing much to say.
You've been had. So at least she didn't cut her hair off, because she's a businesswoman. And they're like, wait a minute, Trump kept saying this stuff, and y'all were talking about this, and yeah, we're going to see some lawsuits now. That's another reason. Let me just stack them for you. Why the Democrat Party may never win another election. Where are you going to get the money? Who's going to host these parties for you? You heard about George Clooney, didn't you? Let me see if nobody has told you about George Clooney. Let me be the first one to tell you about that. George Clooney announced to the world, for some reason, that he is now done with politics. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see here. I think it was the Daily Mail that had it, and I was like stunned when I saw this, because this is the guy who kept basically promoting everything. And that's an old article. Let me see the one. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. You may not have heard this one. So something's happening behind the scenes. The dominoes are falling, and people are like, what? Because I'm sure Clooney brought in some investors and donors as well. It says George Clooney steps back from politics after being labeled scapegoat for Kamala's defeat. George Clooney feels unfairly blamed for Kamala Harris's election loss and has chosen to step back from politics. George Clooney feels he's been unfairly blamed in a heated blame game over who may have cost Kamala Harris the election, and has decided to step back from politics. How in the hell would you possibly blame George Clooney? All he did is host parties. The 63-year-old Hollywood actor supported Harris by writing a strong op-ed explaining why he believed Biden should go out. Since then, Harris has faced criticism from Democrats, with some alleging he played a role in Harris's defeat. It's crumbling. It's all crumbling around them. And they're going to have so many things that they have to fight at this point that they're thinking about installing Kamala Harris as president for 2 months is going to fix. Nope, not going to fix it. You see people like George Clooney going, I'm not with this anymore. I'm not with her. Something's up. And then you hear Lindy Lee there and what she said and how she said it. She said basically, it's just not something that we're going to deal with. I wanted to show you this. I don't know if I showed you this yet. Let me get in here and talk about blame game. Let me see if I actually have it here, because I want to show you. No, it's not in that video. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, then that means I didn't put it together yet. Hold on 1 second. So what has happened is there's a video out there where ABC News is talking to Charlemagne the God. And Charlemagne the God is told that, hey, Donald Trump got 33% of people of color vote. 33%. And he basically chokes when he hears it. He goes, what? 33%? Yeah. He realized he's been lied to. I told you about his lie the other day. He's like, why is nobody calling him, Hitler or anything today? Why is all of a sudden everything's okay? Don't know. But all of a sudden, those things aren't being said. Meanwhile, on the Republican side of things, they're about to make stuff happen. And we got to make sure and we got to put pressure on people to get Rick Scott as the new Senate head.
Now, how do we get Trump's agenda done? How do we get his nominees done? How do we codify his executive orders? That's what's up for this leadership race right now. So I'm running to change. We've got to have a big change. We got almost $36 trillion worth of debt, 100,000 people dying of fentanyl or drug overdoses, open border, work military. We have got to change the way the Senate is run to get Trump's agenda done.
There is no Democrat running for anything who could fill a hall like this, who could do it 4 times a day for a year.
So remember, this was the rally, Tucker's rally. I forget what city it was, and it was packed. There was like 20,000 people at this rally. And he's doing his speech, and he's talking about how basically Mitch McConnell is scum.
There's not one. There's no Republican in Washington. Could Mitch McConnell fill this hall? I don't think so. Yeah, every boo is deserved if you only knew how deserved those boos were.
And I think we're all about to find out. See, when he said this at the rally, a bunch of us probably, you commented and like, oh, what do you know? I think we're about to find out.
One of the things that we learned from Donald Trump, one of the many, many things, completely changed my life watching it. One of the many things we learned is that the Republican Party, the leaders of the Republican Party, really despise their own voters. They had zero interest in improving their lives. And we know this because as 100,000 a year died of drug overdose, as their towns died from offshoring of industry, as their towns were invaded from people from foreign countries who were here illegally, they did nothing. Their attention was focused abroad to the Middle East and Eastern Europe. That's where all the money went. That's where all the prayers went. That's where all the attention went, because that's all they cared about. They didn't care at all about their own voters.
And you have to wonder how much of that money ended up in their own pockets. What did they get for going along? What did they get to be the Washington Generals? The Democrats were the Harlem Globetrotters, as I've used this analogy before. The Republicans were the Washington Generals. They just went along with it. They got paid somehow, And I think that's why they're scurrying at this point.
And by the way, I didn't really know that. I think most people in this room sense that. You know when someone doesn't care about you, you can feel it. You can feel the contempt coming off them in oily waves. That's exactly what it is. It's contempt. Joe Biden's not the only one who thinks you're garbage, actually. Mitch McConnell agrees with that. That's a fact.
I didn't know when we were watching this at the rally what was about to transpire. I thought at that point, and I knew Mitch McConnell was retiring. He already announced it. I didn't know that he was trying to put Thune or Corin in as his replacements to continue with the obstruction of Donald Trump. Obviously, Tucker knew. And if Tucker knew, Trump knew.
And that's one of the reasons that they don't want Donald Trump back in Washington. But the main reason they don't want Donald Trump back in Washington is something called disclosure. Do you know what disclosure is?
Listen to this again. I know you watched the rally with me, but listen to this defined once again.
Disclosure means sunlight. Disclosure is the principle that you, as an American citizen, an equity owner of this country, not a renter, not a serf, not a slave, but as a citizen, an owner of this country, a person on whose behalf the government exists. There's no other reason to have the government except to serve you. That you have a right to know what that government is doing with your money in your name. It's not a privilege that you are granted absolute moral right to know because you own it.
What is your plan? Little did I know that when he made that speech, he was foretelling what's coming. And these people want to crawl back under rocks. Now this piece here, I want you to listen very closely. You probably haven't seen this one either. And I'll stop it when it happens. But listen to what RFK Jr. says here. It's stunning.
To make this work once this election is over with.
What I try to do and what Callie has tried to do is not talk about anything that we have to push through Congress. Because anybody who tells you that they are going to change a law that requires congressional approval is, let me say, they're being over-optimistic. And I, during my campaign, have never made that promise. I've said, if you've got to go to Congress, I can tell you what I'd like to do. I can't make any promises.
Here it comes.
What we have figured out, and what both of us have spent a lifetime between us studying, is how to change things through executive order, through policy changes, and through regulatory changes.
What we, and this was his side, I don't know if it was, I know Nicole Shanahan was his number 2, but this guy might have been number 2A. What we have been studying, basically a lifetime between us, is what and how we can use executive orders for our benefit. So this is RFK Jr., who is now aligned with Trump, and all that information that RFK Jr. had, he now is going to give to Trump. Here's how we figured it out. I hope you listened closely to what he said. We have figured it out, how we're going to be able to use executive orders to change policy and regulation. When I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, I watched all these rallies, and now it's all coming it's coming together. They needed, obviously, for Trump to win, but now they've been spending all their time, as you said, nearly a lifetime between the two of us, studying how we can implement executive orders. I am so pumped to see what Trump does in the next 4 years, especially if he has the House and the Senate. That's why I told you this whole thing. Where was the thing about Trump? When Trump said this, and I posted this, and any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the United States must agree to recess appointments in the Senate and everything else. I think that's a bear trap. I think he and RFK Jr. already have their plan. They already know where they're going. I'm excited to see what exactly they're going to pull out of their hats in terms of executive orders. Remember, Trump was new back then in 2016. Now, he's got a team behind him that knows what they can and can't do. They know what they can push through and what they can't push through, and what mechanisms they need to do to make it happen. And you got Elon Musk. Elon Musk tweeted this morning. No, this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So here's what Trump, as I just showed you. Rick Scott says, 100% agree. I will do whatever it takes to get your nominations through as quickly as possible. And then Elon Musk, to, gazillion people, pushes this out and says Rick Scott for majority leader. So that tells me they all know what they're going to do. And they have the Democrats on their heels at this point. And I saw this one, it came out yesterday at 10:51. Breaking. I missed it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the Trump administration will change the personnel of public health agencies on day one. And if, quote, we can't fire them, we can ship them to a new HHS headquarters in Guam. Do you remember me telling you yesterday that you should put whatever department in Oklahoma? Make them live there? No, I was talking about news studios. Well, RFK Jr. is talking about putting agencies there. Oh, you don't want to do what we're telling you. So maybe the law says I can't fire you because of certain things and poison pills you're going to put in place, but I can now make your office in Guam. Imagine that. And I wanted to say, it's in a quote. Did he actually say that? This got posted last night, as you can see, at 10:59 p.m. And it's in quotations. We can't fire them, but we can ship them to a new headquarters in Guam. I'm like, where did he say it? Why did you post that and not, you didn't post the actual quote? Where did it happen? Well, you're about to hear it right now. Ready?
And personnel changes. And, many of the laws are on the books that already require good behavior. It's just that they're being skirted through agency capture. So we're going to change the personnel of the agencies.
Here it comes.
We're gonna fire on day one, or if you can't fire them, we can ship them to a new HHS headquarters in Guam.
Alan, how the hell did I miss that? How did I miss that? Do you see how the stones are being put together, the Infinity Stones? These guys are ready to come in and like, okay, we want to move you out of here. No, I'm not leaving. I'm a career bureaucrat. Okay, well, guess what? We got an office in, South Alaska for you. You can leave now, okay? What's the office look like? I don't really care. It's a trailer with some lights on it. That's your new office. I'm the president. This guy, RFK Jr., is now your boss, however, whatever position he gets. And we've decided to move you and your employees to South Alaska in the winter. Have fun. Because I wouldn't want to send them to Guam. Guam could be nice. It's a beach. It's a beachfront area. Well, this is not bad. I'm getting paid to live out here in Guam. Yeah, I might never see my family again, but I'm oceanfront property. That's too good for these people. Put them up in East Alaska or something. Not that Alaska's bad, but it's cold as hell in January, February, March. They might not want to be there. You know what? Here's my resignation letter. I'm out. I don't need this. Good for you. Let's finish this off.
Now, obviously, Trump.
I'll come back to Vivek. So, did you hear that? Any of that before? Let's take some comments. You guys liking this stuff? Because bam, oh dang, Barry, this is awesome. I mean, when I put these things together, when I saw that tweet, I'm like, when did RFK Jr. say that? We're gonna ship your ass to Guam. I got to go find it. And I'm like, how did I miss that? He's on the stage with Dr. Phil, and he just came out with it. You don't like it? You're going to Guam. Welcome to Alaska. And I don't mean anything bad about Alaska. I still want to go there on vacation, but I just wouldn't want to go there in January and February. What do you think about the alleged plotting of rhinos in the deep state to sabotage Trump from day one? Yeah, they won't be there. That's what I'm trying to let you see inside. Trump is doing things. He's been planning it all along. He wasn't waiting until he got elected. He already knows where he's going with this stuff. You guys can, I mentioned it earlier, all the rhinos and stuff in there, it's too late. All the world leaders are like, Trump's the man. What are you going to gum up that he can just get around? Obviously, you just heard, they are planning some serious implementation of executive orders. And they've figured out what they can use and what they can't use and how they can go after people. Just be excited. Be excited. It doesn't get any better than this. Yeah, all he's got to do is stay healthy and get there. But I can't wait to see what happens. Gitmo instead of Guam. Yeah, your office is in Guantanamo Bay. But even that's too nice. It's a nice tropical climate. There's a beach down there. Yeah, you maybe have to dodge some Cuban missiles or something. Maybe getting rifles shot at you. But I want you as uncomfortable as possible. And I'm trying to think of where the most uncomfortable places in... we're going to make you go up into Appalachia. There's no real power there, but we got you some battery-operated stuff. The people you didn't want to pay, you didn't want to do anything to them because they were Trump supporters. We got you a cabin right next to them. It's got a little outhouse. Oh, you'll love it. You get a desk there. We have a Starlink internet connection, and maybe you might have running water. Not sure if you will. You might have bottled water. But I'm sure the people who are going to be your neighbors will be more than happy to have you there after what you did to them. Yeah. Feed them worms and rats and insects for nutrition like they were going to feed us. Oh, Antarctic. No, we can't go to Antarctic. We got to dig into that. There's still some crazy stuff going on down there. How about getting Vlad permission to open it up in Siberia? Reopen Alcatraz. There you go. You want to be friends? You want to be friends with Newsom? How about we just put you over there? And I didn't even think about that. And I'm like, okay, so some of these people you can't fire because they put in some sort of poison pill, and they're not going to allow you to get rid of these people. They're embedded. Just make their lives living hells. I mean, you all have probably worked in jobs you hated, absolutely hated, and you couldn't wait to get out of that job. And now these people are going to have those kind of jobs. They're going to have jobs that, man, I don't want to do this anymore. It was cushy in the Beltway. We're up in Washington, and just walk down the street, get some coffee, hang out with your boys because they're in another department down the street, and you get on the train and go over to Virginia where you live. Not now. Yeah, you're gonna have to. As people said, they make you disappear up in Appalachia. That's for sure. They might like to open their movie theater in Gitmo. When I saw this, I just could not believe what I had missed that, and then when I watched some of the tape of the Sunday shows, and it was becoming real apparent to me, and I didn't edit. That's what actually was said on these shows, and there's one that I'm going to show you in a little bit that you can see they're focused on the wrong thing. They've got nothing to. Imagine you're a reporter or a host for any of these networks. What are you going to talk about? Joe's checked out. Kamala got ass whopped. Nobody else can do anything. You lost the election, and all you can do at this point is watch Trump do what he's going to do. So that's going to be it. So I want you to hear now. The same guy on ABC is talking to Vivek, who obviously has some information as well. Here's what Vivek has to say.
Promised, and you've talked a lot about this, the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. First of all, do you really think that we're going to see him round up and deport upwards of 11, sometimes he's put the number as high as 20 million people out of the United States? Is that really going to happen?
Donald Trump's campaign promise was the largest mass deportation in American history. Okay. And he's going to keep that promise. And I'll tell you, let's just start very pragmatically here. I think most Americans agree with this. You take the number of people who have entered the country just in the last 18 to 24 months. That's millions of undocumented immigrants, illegal migrants, who have really no place in this country. Anybody who's committed a crime. Automatically, that already is the largest mass deportation in American history. Now take that to the next level. Not an iota, not a cent of government spending should go to subsidize this, not to sanctuary cities, not to federal aid to people who are in this country illegally. And we're going to see a large number, by the millions, of self-deportations as well.
Who told you that? Yeah, I said that. They know once the aid is cut off and these people, they walk up to the bank or wherever and they use that EBT and it doesn't work. Okay, what are we going to do? Well, we better head back to Mexico, you know. Friend of mine's got ranch we can go work on or something, but the party's over. And notice, this is just another cut. I think I've shown you 3 cuts today where that's all the media at this point is focused on. Kind of odd. And I watched. I fast forwarded, I taped every time. Didn't hear one segment on any of the shows about how Trump is going to help Americans. Not once. Nothing. Nothing about groceries. Nothing about gas. Nothing about interest rates. Nothing. The only thing they really wanted to talk about was retribution and newcomers. That's it. That was the extent of the shows today. And putting Kamala in for a ceremonial interim president.
And so these are pragmatic places to start that would give us, yes, the largest mass deportation in American history.
But fall far short of 11 million or more.
We're going to go step by step aggressively. Donald Trump's going to stay true to his campaign pledge, but in a way that respects the dignity of the Americans who are already here. Okay, and I do think it's offensive to use, when we have $34 trillion of national debt, government funds to subsidize this type of illegal migration. That's half the problem. And if any illegal migrant is no longer a customer of the welfare state, you're going to see self-deportations combined with deportations of those men.
Let me ask you.
Self-deportations, no longer a candidate for the welfare state, an employee, a consumer. No more of your money going to subsidize all these people who shouldn't be here. Why is MSNBC, ABC, and all these different things trying to talk about that? Why is that so important to them? Why is that the only messaging that they even want to discuss? But you're going to love this as we go through this and close here. This is Dana Bash, who's with Jim Jordan. And she's really, really, really worried about this. I mean, really worried about something here.
Let's talk about Jack Smith. He is in talks with the Justice Department about winding down his criminal prosecutions against Donald Trump. In your letter, you warned him that his office, quote, is not immune from transparency or above accountability for its actions. What did you mean by that?
Well, there's a long history in the Congress with our oversight responsibility, our constitutional duty to do oversight of looking at the special.
Notice January 6th again. Nothing looking forward. What can we do great about America? We're talking about January 6th and Jack Smith. And Jack Smith, who is withdrawing his charges. Why would that even be a subject on the Sunday news talk shows? It's over, Dana. It doesn't matter anymore. Daddy's home, he's pissed, and these cases are basically dissolving before your eyes, but you still want to talk about it?
So counts. I mean, when Chairman Nadler chaired the Judiciary Committee, he wanted this information from Robert Mueller. He got the information. Mueller came and testified. Of course, we've had Mr. Durham, Mr. Herr. We're looking at Mr. Weiss.
So you're going to open a formal investigation into
No, all we said is we want you to preserve the documents. We want to see what's going on. And we know from testimony that one of his lawyers, Jay Bratt, threatened what appeared to be a threat. We have the communications, and we have some testimony where Jay Bratt said to someone who was representing one of the defendants in these cases that, oh, I thought you were interested in being a federal judge. People may not look kindly on that if you're helping someone who's part of the Trump administration, Mr. Walton Atta. So there's facts there, and we want all the information, preserve the records, let us have it. This is consistent with how Congress has always operated.
But it's also sometimes a precursor to an investigation.
Yeah, that's how they work. You compile information, and you have to get the information first so that you can see, is there any fire behind the smoke? And if we see something, then we could commence an investigation. Dana, why does that bother you? Why is that of any concern to you that, we're going to be looking? Again, why are they focused on stuff that has nothing to do with advancing America? Now she's digging in, trying, hey, is Trump going to go after this guy? And Jordan knows, I know what you're trying to get me to do, and I'm telling you, we're going to get information. Once we have information and we look at the information, then we can decide if an investigation is warranted. But first, we need everything you got.
Well, look,
are you ruling it out?
What I'm saying is, if you think about, people talk about retribution. The retribution has been from the other side. I've been trying to stop retribution for the last 4 years.
I'm going to get to that in 1 second.
I just for the last 10 years. You can go clear back to when the Obama administration targeted.
I'm going to get to that in 1 second, I promise. But I just want to.
We're for stopping that, but we do want the facts, and that's why we sent the letter. Okay. Mr. Loudermilk and myself sent.
You see, they're hell bent on showing Trump as a revenge person, retribution. And Jim Jordan is doing it. I'm looking to see if there was anything wrong. I'm not going to speak out of turn until I look and start seeing the documents. And then once I see the documents, I'll know whether we have something to move forward on.
The letter saying, hey, Mr. Smith, preserve this information. We want the same thing from David Weiss, for goodness sake, because we know what he tried to do. He tried to get the sweetheart deal in the Hunter Biden investigation, and we had some brave whistleblowers come forward. We want the information. We think the American people are entitled to the information.
Will Jack Smith be called to testify?
We'll have to see.
See, she's already jumped into it. So someone has told her to find out what they're going to do. And Jordan's smart enough to go, I don't know. I got to look at the documents. You want to know already, is he going to be called in to testify? Is he going to possibly be investigated or charges on their way? I don't know. Y'all been too secretive. Now we're going to look at the documents and we're going to find out if there's anything there.
I assume there's going to be some report, but all we're saying is preserve everything so we, the Congress, who have a constitutional duty to do oversight, can see everything that's going on. And we have the facts regarding Jay Bratt, one of your lawyers, which they have not been willing to give us information on.
Do you
that.
think it would be beneficial for him to testify? Or?
See, she keeps pushing that. Someone has told her, find out what their plans are. And I love that Jordan just is basically shadow boxing with her and realizing, you're out of your league, Dana. We already know what we're going to do. And I also know, I don't know if Jordan was a lawyer in his past, but he knows enough to let her know, I don't know what we're going to do. If there's nothing there, Jack Smith is fine. But if there's something there, we'll let you know.
But it may be. That's been the norm, but we're not taking anything off the table. Okay. We're not saying for sure, but
we haven't taken anything off the table. Perfect answer. I don't know yet. I don't know what you've done. But I'm going to look. Is that bad, Dana? Should we not even look? Should we just say, oh, it's over and just not even look at anything? Because that's what they want.
Want the information.
Okay, so let's go back to what you just brought up, which is the question about retribution. You also lead the weaponization of the federal government subcommittee. Mm-hmm. Trump has repeatedly threatened to prosecute Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Liz Cheney, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, General Mark Milley.
That's a lie. I wish he called her on it. What he said was, we need to look and see what they've done, and then if they've done something, we can go ahead and move to some sort of investigation on them. What you're wanting is just don't do anything. Just look the other way. What she's saying is even looking at documents is retribution.
Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, New York AG Letitia James, and that's just some of the people he has talked about. Do you support him using the Justice Department to go after the people who disagree?
We didn't do it as first.
These people have no sense of self-awareness. What I'd like you to do, Dana, do me a favor, give Rudy Giuliani a call. Give Roger Stone a call. Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, Paul Manafort. On and on and on. Give all those people a call if you're worried about retribution or the DOJ being weaponized. Where was this interview 2 or 3 years ago? Steve Bannon just got out of jail a week ago. Rudy Giuliani has to turn over all of his assets tomorrow. And you're worried about them looking at documents. Why? Why is it retribution if Trump looks at something when for the last 4 years, all Biden and Merrick Garland have done is invade people's property, kick in the front door, do whatever they could do, plant evidence, all kinds of stuff. But now you're actually worried about what Trump may do.
What I support is stopping.
Right, but this is a second term.
What I support is stopping this lawfare, stopping this political targeting, political cases. We all know the Fonnie Willis case, the Alvin Bragg case, and the Jack Smith cases were all driven by politics. The American people understood it. That's why they had this overwhelming win. One of the reasons this overwhelming win.
Bingo. Bingo. You see, Dana, you're not paying attention. Everything you said that Trump didn't actually say, but if indeed he said that, if Trump said, I'm going to look at all these people, if he said, I'm going to basically see if we can investigate, I don't remember him saying those words, but even if he said it, he was voted in with a landslide and a mandate, which means the American people are like, do it. That's what these media people aren't understanding. We've already given him our seal of approval. We pulled the lever. We stuck the ballot in. We've all agreed, do what you got to do. If these people screwed up and broke the law, do what you got to do. It's too late, Dana. You can't cover for them. It's going to be laid bare in front of the public. I don't even know why you're talking about it on this Sunday morning. Don't you have anything else to talk about? Don't you have gas prices, food, interest rates, mortgages, newcomer crime? You're worried about Jack Smith and some of these other people being investigated? Good luck with that. We already gave the approval. The American people said, yes, do what you need to do. And these people don't understand it or they're not accepting it, one or the other.
For President Trump. So I'm against the retribution. I'm against the Justice Department saying if you're a mom and dad showing up at a school board meeting, we're going to investigate you. I'm against the FBI putting together a memorandum at the Richmond field office which said if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist.
So I just
we want all that to
Of course she's got to cut him off.
Stop.
I just want to put a button on this. So what you are saying is that all of the times that President Trump said so many things about people that he promised that he would go after them and prosecute them, you were going to encourage him not to do that?
Jim should just told her, hey, Dana, screw off. I know I'm supposed to be nice on your show here, but we're going to do what we got to do. You want to keep playing this charade here? I know I have to, I'm a congressman, so I've got to use my decorum. But I would have loved for him just to say, we'll see what happens. That's all I can tell you. We'll just play it out, play it by ear.
Well, all I know is what he didn't do.
I know, but we're talking about
lock her up. He talked about his opponent in 2016, Secretary Clinton, talked about lock her up. He didn't do that. He didn't go. But the Democrats went after him.
I know, but I'm talking about Donald Trump's second term. Going forward. Since then, he has said many times.
I don't think any of that's going to happen because we're the party who's against political prosecution. We're the party who's against going after your opponents using lawfare. In fact, I think this is one of the issues that the
So it was just a campaign rhetoric? It was.
Jeez, Dana, what do you want? The guy's not going to tell you what they're going to do. He has to find the information. Why are you driving this home? So he's not going to arrest him? He's not going to go after him? You sound stupid. I mean, you literally sound stupid. I gave you more credit than that. And with everything going on in the world, you're worried about who Trump may or may not investigate. You're showing your hand. In poker, that's called a tell. You're worried. Someone has told you they're worried. Possibly people at CNN are worried.
Is it real?
Well, I think he's pointing out what's going on. The retribution. Actually, Liz Cheney on January 6th went after President Trump, said things that weren't accurate, I think, in their report. The other individuals he's talked about have been part of this retribution going after President Trump. Never forget, It started clear back before he was in office. They spied on his campaign in 2016.
I am not.
Oh, she want to hear that. Oh, yeah, I know, but I got to shut him up. He's speaking truth.
No, for 8 years, they've been going after presidents.
He won.
He sure did. He won big.
He won.
If that wasn't a shit-eating grin, I don't know. He sure did. He won big. Be afraid. I just wish he had said it to her. Tell your buddies and friends, be afraid.
He won big. So my question, and what people want to know, is what he is going to do.
I think he's going to do.
Just for example, 2 days ago, he called for investigations into anyone.
What people want to know. We all know. The people who gave him a landslide and a mandate, you, me, all these people right here, we all know. We already know what's going to happen. What do you mean the people want to know? What people? The people who thought Kamala was going to win? Too bad.
Spreading rumors.
I think he's going to secure the border. I think he's going to get rid of this crazy inflation that's hurting middle class and working class families, hurting our economy. I think he's going to get back to common sense energy policy. I think he's going to focus on protecting the First Amendment. I mean, think about this. Did you ever think you would see Donald Trump, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., and Tulsi Gabbard on the same team? They were on the same team because of the attack on free speech, the attack on the First Amendment. He's going to focus on those things that the American people elected him to do.
Okay. I mean, there are a lot of, I want to move on to immigration. There are a lot of things that you just said that I think aren't totally fact-based. So they say.
I don't care. There's a lot of things you said I don't think are fact-based. Your entire network isn't fact-based.
That they're for free speech, but there are a lot of things that we know are not happening. I want top Trump advisor Stephen Miller says that mass deportations of undocumented.
And I didn't look and pick these pieces. All day long on the different channels, all they were terrified of was mass deportations. I'm convinced that they don't have anything to talk about, because if they did, they would realize the stat already is like 80% of people want them gone, of Americans, which means it's, crosses party lines. And I keep going back to it. He won in a landslide with a mandate. Why are you talking about things that were political issues in a campaign that's over? The campaign ended on Tuesday night. It's over. Yes, he's going to do it. Why are you wondering if he's going to follow through? Why are you? It doesn't make any sense. You're wasting your airwaves talking about stuff. Is he really going to do it? How's he going to do it? When's he going to do it?
Immigrants will begin as soon as Donald Trump takes office. I want to play this out for the American people so that they understand what exactly is going to happen. First of all, he takes office. Who's targeted first?
Well, he's already said that. People who have migrants here who committed crimes, criminal.
How are you going to find them?
The ones who committed crimes, you go after them.
Who are you? It's none of your business. She's interrogating him like she's his boss. How are you going to do it? Where are you going to find him? How are you going to?
We've had.
But I mean, who actually?
Gary, whose daughter was killed. We've had Rachel Morin's family who came in and talked.
How are they going to be found? Or is it going to be the military? Is it going to be local law enforcement?
1.3 million migrants have already had their asylum case adjudicated, been in front of a judge, and the judge says, you do not qualify under the law. We're the party of the rule of law. Those 1.3 million, they don't qualify under the law.
My question is how you get them.
They're supposed to be removed. They have a removal order. You start there. You start with the criminals. You start with the people who've already
I want to understand. So people say, let's say one of these people is living in their apartment complex. Is the military going to come in? Is it the local law enforcement? How is it actually physically going to work?
Dana, that's really none of your business. I'm sorry, but there's a plan being made with Trump and Tom Homan and some other guys who I can't name the names because they're not basically part of the cabinet yet. So wait until January, which is what he should have said, and you'll see. We're not disclosing how we're going to do it. Hey everybody, we're going to ride around New York with a blowhorn saying, hey, if you're a newcomer out here, come on out and get in the back of this truck. What an idiot. It's going to be covert. It's going to be announced.
The Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security will work with local law enforcement, and we'll focus on the people who 1.3 million already been in front of a judge and said, no, you're not entitled to stay here. You have to be removed. There's an order there, a court of law. They've had their due process. They've had the whole process play out.
So let's move on beyond that population, non-criminals, people who are in the country who are not legal citizens, those who have not committed crimes.
You know what they're called? Oh, I can't say it here. But you're using a euphemism because, Dana, you don't want to call them what they really are. I have to say newcomers, but everybody with a thinking mind knows who these people are and what they are. They've broken the law, which makes them you know what. And they dance around it like this doesn't make any sense. This is a Sunday morning news show, and you're spending all your time. This was like 8 minutes of your show talking about, oh, how's it gonna happen? What's the mechanism? Who's gonna round them up? What you worried about, girl? What you afraid of?
We're starting with the criminal element.
I know, but after that,
1.3. Well, we'll start there and then go from that point. But again, this was clear in the election. This was one of the top issues. President Trump had the greatest political comeback in history. Won 30 states, won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, won an electoral college landslide. This was one of the big issues. He's told the American people he's going to do it.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm asking how it's going to work.
This is how I believe it'll start. And remember, they told him in his first term, he couldn't do certain things. He got them done. I'm convinced he'll get it done, but I also am convinced he's going to start with the criminal element and the 1.3 million who've already been in front of the judge, and the judge says you have to be removed.
Ultimately, will it be 15 to 20 million as he promised on the campaign trail?
We will see. What I know is if you send that message, I think that is so good for securing our border, which the country wants. Mm-hmm. Just the opposite of what the Biden administration did. Biden and Harris administration came in on day one and said, no more building the wall, no more remain in Mexico, and when you get here, you will not be detained, you will be released, and 10 million came in. So the country rightly said, let's put a stop to that, and the place to begin is with the criminal element and the 1.3 million who've already been adjudicated.
So the last question I want to ask about this are the dreamers. There are an estimated 3.6 million people who were brought into this country illegally with...
I don't know, is her husband a newcomer, or a relative or something? This makes absolutely no sense. I'm not even going to keep listening to her. And Jim Jordan and every other Republican, let me just give you a little bit of advice. Don't go on these shows anymore. Don't sit there and listen to these people who are frantic, obviously, frantic, badger you about what you're going to do here and what you're going to do then, and he doesn't even get inaugurated until January 20th or so. Ignore them. Do not go. At this point, you don't need the media. How many times we have to drill this in these people's heads? Get off the television camera. You want something to say, go ahead and do it on X. You want something to, get a word out there, go talk to one of the podcast hosts. Why in the hell are you even going on these stupid shows? Don't give them any air. The best thing that's going to happen is for Trump just to ignore them. And tell everybody else, just ignore them. They are irrelevant. They mean absolutely nothing. They make good fodder to talk about, but what they're trying to do is catch you. All they're doing is gotcha. They don't care about your career. They're not going to basically enhance what you're doing. Ignore them. Leave them to the Adam Kissingers and Liz Cheneys of the world. Don't even go on anymore. I would almost tell Trump to tell all of his staff, nobody does any interviews. Like Steve Bannon said, don't even have the White House press briefing. I'll do your press briefing, like we did just now. Forget these people. They're irrelevant. They're moot. They've been rendered feckless. The election showed that nobody gives a crap what MSNBC, CBS, CNN, ABC, blah, blah, blah. They don't care. They don't care. Do what you said you're going to do. You want to round them up, round them up. If it ends up being 2 million, it's 2 million. If it ends up being 6 million, whatever you do, just do it. Do what you need to do to get gas prices. Go drill. Do it everything. Ignore them. They're wasting your time. They're wasting all of our time because you don't have to explain yourself to these nimwits. The American people already said, hey man, you do what you need to do. Okay, yeah. We already gave you the stamp of approval. There's no winning with these people. They are never coming back. Let her cut off her hair. Let her husband not have sex for 4 years. I don't care. Ignore these nimwits. That's what I say anyways. So, that's pretty much what I've seen today alone. I can't wait till Monday. What's going to happen tomorrow? Twice it shut down. I'm restricted. What's that say? Okay. Steve Bannon talks sense. Stop giving them anything. Republicans have nothing to prove. Don't even go on their show. Don't even do it, man. The left never saw Elon coming. Nope, they just laughed at it. Yes, here, come talk to Barry and Fanfare. Absolutely. Barry, explain yourself? What do you mean explain myself? They're unlawful Martians. Does this mean we can keep our gas stoves? Yes, you can keep your gas stove. Absolutely. I still think somebody said, no, we couldn't have Alex Jones. And I thought that person who emailed me said, it's not a good idea. He said something bad about something or something and something. And he got sued. So? That would be the biggest troll move. We don't need them. Understand, none of these people obviously can do Trump any harm. They tried for 4 years. They called him every single name in the book. They called you garbage. Nothing worked. So why would you fear any of them? Why would you send me an email and say, they'll come after him? Who's going to come after him? Have you not been alive for the last 4 years? They came after this man every single day with multiple states, 34 felony convictions, blah, 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 take his property, take his... And he won. So now, the best retribution would just be to ignore them. Just gone. I remember a guy told me once, and it was something I really, really had to take in. And it was echoed by the movie The Bronx Tale. And what this guy told me once, he goes, do you know what the opposite of love is? I want you all to understand this. Do you know what the opposite of love is? And most people would say hate. And the answer to that question, and this guy was a psychologist, he goes, no, it's not hate. Hate means you still have emotion. The opposite of love is indifference. When you don't give a shit what this person thinks, then that's the opposite of love. I don't have any emotion for you. I don't care what you think. I'm completely indifferent. I don't care. That's the opposite. So right now, Trump needs, and his team, they need to be wholly indifferent. We don't care what you think. In the movie The Bronx Tale, remember when C starts running and he chases this guy down? He goes, he owes me $20. And what's the guy's name? The gangster guy says to him, what are you doing? He goes, you spent $20 to get this guy out of your life. You never have to talk to him again. It's cheap. And he's like, oh yeah. Indifferent. Don't pay people any attention. Stop worrying about what the media might say. Stop worrying about how they might look at Trump. You just saw, they're not going to change. Take a deep breath and realize they are never going to accept you. They will always look at you like a brown shirt. They think you're crazy. They wish you weren't here. They would do anything to change things on Tuesday night. They're not looking to unify with you. They're trying to assuage things. I saw Michael Cohen this morning saying, Trump needs to come out and do something and unify us. F you. F you, Michael Cohen. That's where you need to get to. I know we're all Christians, but we're not obligated to just accept people because now all of a sudden there's like, can we just unify? Can we come together? I'll sing Kumbaya with you. No, I don't care about you anymore. I care about you as humanity. I don't want to see anything happen to you. I don't wish ill upon you. but I don't really care about your political thoughts at this point. I'm done. You're dead to me. That's just how I feel. And now they're telling people, as I showed you yesterday, don't bother talking to people in your family who think differently. I'm thinking to myself, what a crappy thing to say to somebody. You're telling me I shouldn't talk to my sister or my cousin or somebody because they're a Democrat? Because, I voted for Trump? You kissed my you-know-what. I was so happy yesterday. And it was just a little thing. I'll say this before I leave here. I was so happy. Last night, Robin and I went out to dinner. Real beautiful place. And when we walked in, I'm like, what is that? And we started seeing decorations. And I'm like, am I seeing this right? And as we walked up to the hostess stand, it was a giant, 14-foot Christmas tree. And I'm like, it's November 9th. And there's a Christmas tree. And people are happy. And people were jovial and enjoying dinner. And the atmosphere was just unbelievable. And I looked at Robin across the table. I'm like, we ain't got nothing to worry about. These people are irrelevant. Everybody in here, which I'm sure there was some Democrats because there was a lot of New Yorkers in there. But at that moment, everybody just minded their business, ate their dinner, enjoyed the music, enjoyed the surroundings, and we didn't give a shit what these people who are nuts are doing. See, I know there's a lot of Democrats that are good people. It's the far, 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 far left at this point who are nuts. See, if someone's willing to shave their head, I can laugh, but I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm totally indifferent. I don't want to basically look at you and do anything other than scorn. Sort of like my feelings with Miami Dolphins right now. They suck. I'm wasting my time on you. Come back next year and show me it's worth my time to buy a ticket to do anything and put you guys in good favor. Meanwhile, Notre Dame kicked some butt last night. They're like 8-1. They're showing me, hey, listen, you need to tune in. People need to give you a reason to be worth your time. I thank every single one of you who watched my videos. I can't believe some of you guys stayed for 2 hours plus. And I appreciate that. I am not indifferent to you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you very much. But these people, Trump needs to tell them, just step off. Just step off. All right. Ricky says we put our Christmas stuff up yesterday and ordered Trump MAGA hats. There you go. There you go. Phoenix Rising. Go ND. You're talking live nuts. Exactly. We have to realize at this point that live nuts and Democrats are two different things. There are some Democrats who I'm pretty sure look at things and go, what in the hell happened? How did this even... Well, we know. We can look at RFK Jr. and Tulsi. There's two Democrats that, are like, these people nuts. We're out. All right. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Super Chats and talk about that. Wow, thank you guys for hanging out all this time. It's fantastic. On a Sunday afternoon, Sunday early evening, we're going to go play a little bit tonight too ourselves. All right, so let me... Oh, by the way, while I'm doing this, let me go ahead and put this up. I want you guys... We just broke 9,000 people in our private group. Our private group over on X. It's our membership site, and I decided to put it on X instead of doing it on YouTube because it's much more engaging, and you guys are going to... You'll really like it over there. 9,000. It's safe. You're not going to see a bunch of craziness and porn or anything. It's a safe step to learn how to use X. And believe me, once you get in there, and so many people have said it, they're like, oh my God, I cannot believe how did I not have this? So go ahead and join, and we'd love to see you over there. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the 3 o'clock briefing. And then at 7 p.m., we're going to get back to our evening show, and we're going to give away hoodies again tomorrow. 7 o'clock tomorrow, so tune in so you guys can get some hoodies. Let me go ahead and see if I can use the software to bring up the Super Chats. Boom. Okay, let's do this. Mark Cologne, thank you very much, bringing tomorrow's news today. Dyslexic Tank. Tank or Hank? Tank. Thank you very much. Let me scroll down here. Eric Marshall, just a Kentucky feller supporting cuffs on Mish. Yeah, I can only imagine. He's not a good guy. Not a good guy. Jeff 26. She can't understand they already have a government-issued cell phone. Yep. There's going to be so many ways they can... You're talking about Elon. I can't believe you're asking this question. And I'm like, Dana Bash, you know he's got the best technological viability ever, probably. Tim Sparry, Jim is giving the Majorca smirk. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Patras, how are you? Why are people giving ear to demons like Dana Bash? I don't know. I don't even know why they give them any air. Just don't go on their shows. If you learned anything from Trump's campaign, you realize at this point you don't need the media. Even for your own re-election, you don't need the media. So I don't know if you're just trying to be nice, but screw them. Baby removal is not birth control. It is a brutal way to solve a problem that you caused, with rare exceptions. Yeah, but now some of them are deciding they're not going to do it anymore, so we won't have to worry about that. Let's see here. Todd Doyle, this has nothing to do with locking anyone up. It's making the corruption and crimes transparent to the public, exposing the lies for all to see. Well said. Very well said. Dyslexic Tank again. Maybe leave some chump slick in the empty office cube. Oh, yeah. I thought that was so great. When I heard that, I'm like, wait a second. Send them to Guam? I'm like, oh, my God. Y'all been planning it, right? Because you're talking about it, so you've already talked about it. Super chat from Sandra. Barry, you're enjoying way too much. Can't stop chuckling while your ad takes rock your head. I do find it's fun for me because I know what these people are just driving them crazy. Absolutely. This is Jeremiah Kerr. Barry, how do we prove to libs that the Bannon video post about Matt Walsh's post after election was a retaliatory joke? I think the problem you're having is in the first thing you said. How do we prove to libs? You don't. Ignore them. Why do you got to prove anything to them? Barb Johnson, boy oh boy, Barry, another great show. What fun we'll have when they take the gag off you. Oh, you don't even know. I mean, I am hoping. Every day I look and go, can I get away with this? Can I say this? I just want to talk. Barry, you're not even supposed to be here today. Thank you. No, Robin gave me permission. She said you can do a show on a Sunday. Let's just go ahead and do it. And I'm like, they got the Sunday shows. I can't just let the Sunday shows go without anything. Just another knucklehead. Hey, man. Hey, please don't talk about drunken sailors. I was one for 20 years, even though I would not throw money at Skanky Kamala. Oh, you're too funny. That's funny. Stacy Lane, what do you think about Trump helping to pay down Kamala's debt? I think he was trolling. I don't think he's giving her a dime. I think that was just a troll to say, you spent all that money for nothing. Tanea, Barry, yesterday was out and about and was rushing home to watch your show. Then realized you weren't on. I was a bit sad. Glad you're on today. I was live yesterday. See, every day at 3 o'clock, I'm going to do the briefing, stuff about Trump moving forward. And then Sunday, every night at 7 is when weeknight at 7, I'll do the regular show. No show at 7 tonight, obviously. It's just a weekend. Roger Gardner, great work, Barry. Hope soon we can all move away from YouTube. I watch you every day. Or possibly YouTube can get their shit together, excuse my language. From Cindy Lou Who. I remember Cindy Lou. Cindy, you were a great actress in The Grinch. Loved you there, okay? And I just thought you shouldn't have, just taken the milk and cookies and went back to your room. Anyway, it's not our fault the Dems promised and can't deliver, so now it's them who are cruel. Yep. Mm-hmm. Imagine that. Now you're going to have to tell people where'd you spend this money. G-Mark, thank you. No more two-tier justice system. Make America lawful again. I think that's what they're afraid of. I think that's what they're really afraid of. Patricia Morris, amen. What are you afraid of? When you sided with the Democrat Party, you weren't scared, run or confess your folly. Yeah, you knew what you were getting into. And those of you who are having a problem, understand, if the election had gone a different way on Tuesday, they wouldn't be looking to be unified with you. Not at all. You were going to eat the bugs and live in a pod. You weren't going to be able to have a gas stove. They were hoping they could do away with your car, make you buy an EV, and then when you couldn't afford it, you couldn't go anywhere because that's what they really want. Imagine it's Christmas season and how on Thanksgiving and what gas prices would have been and fuel prices. They don't care about you. They had an agenda, an absolute agenda. From Tico Blado, call your senators, people, to get Rick Scott to be leader in Senate. Rhinos are calling for a secret vote Wednesday. We got to stop that secret vote. Have to stop that secret vote. They should not be doing a secret vote on things. Fernando Cardenas, can we add Merrick Garland to the list? He was the orchestrator of all these phony charges against our great leader, Donald Trump. Steve Bannon said it the other day. The term you want to remember, moving forward, I said it yesterday. You heard Jim Jordan say it. Preserve your documents. Preserve your documents means we're going to look at some things. We need to find out how things happen and make sure you keep all those documents handy. Nancy Jennings, where'd that go? Okay, be proud, MAGA and voters. Every vote we made is a shiny new brick in rebuilding the White House. When you look at the future, be proud that you're part of the bright idea. Right. And Cindy Lou Who, again, thank you very much. I am grateful he came to save us from this, and thank you for the coverage. Well, thank you for watching. Every one of you on a Sunday afternoon, no less. Thank you very much. I missed one here from Tim T. Sometimes I sign off before I see them all. Thank you very much, Tim. It's greatly appreciated. Scott, thank you very much. No brains, no headache. Wait a couple. Let's see here. I'm reading all my super chats out of order, bro. It's reading. That's from Dyslexic Tank. Thank you for Roger Reynolds. And that is it. And I thank each one of you. Fantastic. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, do me a favor, and you'll actually enjoy it, is to go to our group and check it out. Just go and see if you like it. If you want to see basically X in a way that you can actually use it, fanfareshop.org/group. And if you aren't doing anything later and you just want to enter for the hoodie, we'll be giving them away tomorrow. Go to fanfareshop.org to register for a hoodie. Well, that's all I got for you tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell your dogs. Everybody got to get up in here. We're going to have some fun over the next 90 days for sure as we go into different kind of content. I hope you guys are enjoying this newsy type thing. And before I play the outro, if you have any problems with seizures, maybe look away now. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow.